Hello everybody, my name is Samuel Tomatz and I'm from Vault Studios and I'm here today with...
David Bloom.
So today we're talking a little bit about artificial intelligence within music.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about how you're feeling with AI in music?
I think across the board, AI for me is a tool. I don't believe in it ever replacing everything that you do, but using it as, maybe there's something you're not strong with. Me personally, I'm not the biggest lyricist, so using AI to help generate some ideas for lyrics, and yeah, just kind of maybe a shortcut, maybe something I use AI for can expedite my workflow and just make my workflow more efficient. But yeah, I'm not strongly against it unless you are using it to replace yourself completely. I don't believe in that.
So you run Bloom Records.
Yeah, with Kat and Luke, yeah.
What is Bloom Records?
Bloom Records is an artist-led record label. We've grown up with music, all of us, and we wanted to not just have a studio where artists can produce, but something that venues, and sometimes it's hard for bands to find a venue that's available to play at. We have connections with different people. We want to facilitate people to go on tour, develop merchandise, and be able to promote their stuff via clothing, or if they want to make a vinyl or stuff like that. But we want the artists to keep almost I think we're like 80 to 90% of what they make is theirs. We got to keep the bus going, and keep everything fueled. But the artist, the goal is to promote the artist 100%, and they have all the rights to all their stuff, and yeah.
That's awesome. With all this AI tech that we've been talking about, how do you feel like it's going to be shifting the way that you run your record label and just other record labels in general?
I think all of us strictly stand by the tool aspect. An artist can, some of the tools that we use to clean things up, there's de-essers and like declippers and all this stuff. Especially we work with artists that do audibles and like audiobooks, and if there's sort of noise that we need to get rid of, sometimes just doing the traditional methods of cleaning things up doesn't eliminate that. But now we can record almost anything and then eliminate the background noise with the use of AI. The AI will hear the voice and just isolate that, and it just expedites the workflow. And again, the final product is the end goal. So if it gives us a good product, we're not replacing ourselves 100%, but yeah, it just expedites how we do things. So with artists specifically, and they make a song, if they need another instrument that they can't play, we have somebody, we have studio musicians that we can hire out for that, but more for the post editing and all the cleanup and stuff. If there's something very, very specific that we cannot tackle or is a little more tedious, AI has been proven to assist in that.
That's awesome. I mean, the fact that you're able to not only speed up the process, but be able to deliver things at cheaper rates than kind of everyone else. That's awesome that you're able to use the AI kind of very much as a tool to be able to deliver a better product for cheaper.
Oh yeah. That is the end goal. 100% is accessibility and affordability. 100%. I don't want to say shortcut, because I feel like shortcut is the choice to replace something, but it expedites everything. You're still doing the same workflow, but it speeds it up for you. But yeah, and it's powerful stuff, and again, it's quick, and it just gets us to the end goal faster, and like you said, cheaper. I think that everybody wants that, but we don't want to. I think a big fear with AI is removing people's jobs. Overall, it's a tool. It's a beefy tool that like I said, it expedites and makes things cheaper, and that for a business is what everybody wants, and the client doesn't want to spend as much money either. And if we can lower our costs for the product or the project as a whole, if we can lower those costs for everybody, that's a win.
it's interesting for me to hear that you're talking a little bit about using it just to kind of aid within the process. I'm a big music enjoyer, and I played kind of novicely over the years, but I don't feel like I'm able to write music or do something like that. So
Yeah, I've used it primarily like because I'm not a big storyteller, so kind of asking it to, give me something metaphorical, maybe in a specific genre. I want it to be a scary song or something, sci-fi like, or let's talk about love, and it'll give me a list of different ideas, and then I can kind of fine tune. And this last song that I did, I prompted it to give me like verse, chorus, and I only really used the first 2 lines of each verse because the rest of it didn't work for just what I was feeling. But those first 2 lines I think were just right. And then again, I might go back and fine tune and ask it like, hey, I like these 2 lines, but maybe we can change this one word or the phrasing at the end here, and just kind of get it to where I like it the most.
I really like how you're using it as such like a creative, in-depth way about really allowing yourself to not just use it to replace something, but as kind of a collaborative artist almost.
Yeah.
Besides lyrics, are there many other like AI plugins that you're using or tools that you're messing with?
I'm familiar with them, but I don't use them myself. I really prefer, like I said, I'll use it as a tool to assist in the things that I'm not good at. But I prefer, playing my own drums, playing all the instruments that I put down, because that creatively, I'm in control of that stuff. There's so many out there. Suno is a big one. I don't know if it's Suno.ai. I assume it is, but it might be Suno.com. But Suno is a very popular AI music generator, and anyone can go on there. I think it encourages people who don't know anything about music and gives them an opportunity to play around with music. Someone who can't play an instrument can go in there. Let's write a country song about this, and in 30 seconds, or less, you've got a country song, and it's well done. Suno, I bring that one up because it's the more popular one. Some of the other ones do music as well, but I don't think they're as, not necessarily accurate, but you might just get someone singing a line and it's very basic. When Suno, this person is belting that part out and then sings a calmer verse, and then there's more dynamics.
Yeah, interesting.
And more variations to what you can do. And then on Suno, I think you can also put in your own lyrics if you have lyrics, and a singer will sing over those lyrics, so you can actually give it a story that you're driving.
That's interesting. Do you think that we would ever see people like writing all the instrumental stuff and then just using Suno as like a voice or something?
It could be that.
So it's really giving you the full flexibility to just like, you could kind of replace different parts of the song where you might not have a band member to fill.
Right. No, and I've seen some other, I don't know the name, but I've seen some other tech that you can, with MIDI, those are the note values, or they're signals, but they're usually used to determine what notes are going to be played. You can speak into it and then give it the note values, and now AI takes your words and the notes that you gave it and sings those phrases, but in that melody that you gave it.
Yeah,
so it does help with singing.
Yeah, I always get spammed with ads from like Band Labs and places
Yeah.
like that about. They've always interested me, but I've never really got to mess with them.
Yeah. No, the tech is there. It's definitely when AI first started and we started. I think Suno was one of the first like music generators, and that was exciting. Google released something called it's Music Effects DJ, partnered with Jacob Collier, and they worked together to develop. Again, I think these are all tools to introduce people to music who can't necessarily play music themselves. And it's kind of like a playground. My mom, for example, she loves music but doesn't play anything, and she'll go on to Music Effects DJ, and you just type in drum and bass, and it gives you a little knob, and it says drum and bass. It starts playing a drum and bass line, and you can, with the knob, kind of adjust the influence of what that prompt is. So then you add saxophone, and that comes down, and you raise the saxophone up, and so you'll start hearing more saxophone. And you can come up with some, I did the other day, bluegrass and I think metal, or bluegrass and drum and bass. and you hear some stuff that you probably never would have heard of before, but that could spark, you know, an idea to create something else. And I play music and play instruments, but these tools I'm using for more of a inspiration. But yeah, I think it can be used in a variety of ways. Like I said, as long as you're not replacing yourself completely and taking because a lot of the fun is the work that's put into it and having to decide what note do I hit here or what pattern do I play here. If the AI is doing it all for you, I think it takes a little bit of the humanity out of it.
I think it's interesting, especially because like when I was kind of more into music about 6 or 7 years ago, really trying to do my own thing with it, it was like, oh, you know, a couple instruments, but I'm not a singer, I'm not, you know, multiverse and everything. So it was like you could write within what you knew, but then at the end of the day, it was like you would have to find someone else to do it. So it was like the individuality of creating your own music just wasn't really there. But I love the collaborativeness. So it was like, you know, able to start, you know, kind of a high school band and do that, you know, route. But it's interesting to think now of like, if you wanted to do something just like fully by yourself, like as a solo project, it's such a different approach.
Oh yeah. No, let's say I didn't play, I mean, I don't play saxophone, let's say. I could use AI just to help me with the saxophone part, and I lay down everything else, and that maybe, I encourage people to find friends to play with, because I think that's a great learning tool, and when you're playing with other people, you feed off of each other. Maybe one day we'll see AI that is listening to what you're feeding it live and feeds it back to you at the same time, and you're kind of jamming with AI. That would be cool, but right now I think it's very like, here's this, and you kind of wait, and then it gives it back to you. So it's not like, you know, cohesive like that.
Yeah, I know. I really remember at one point I needed a brass part. My dad's a trumpet player, and so like having to go and like bug him and go like, hey, you free tonight to like play for like an hour and we can mess around, and it was just, you know, a couple days, and then we got in and, you know, messed around and came up with something that I think we were both kind of, you know, happy with, but it was definitely like just, you know, us kind of messing around. So it's interesting to see how it's really taking music from like a professional, you know, only has to have, you know, years of experience down to something that's more accessible to everyone.
Oh yeah, and from your computer or from your phone. Some the music effects DJ I've used on my phone, I think it caps out after an hour. I think they explain it as they want to save room for other people to be able to use it on their servers. So you have like up to an hour to play with it, but I do it at work if I've got some free time and I'm making music right there without even playing. You know, I have no access to my personal computer at home or anything. So it's mobile. You can share it also with if you've got a pattern going that you like, you can share it with a friend via text message, and then they pull it up on their phone and they hear what you were just working with, and they can go off of that. So it is very portable and just easy to work with. So I need you to give me a prompt.
Okay, so my prompt is gonna be
just like an instrument or a genre. You could do colors or different like moods.
Okay, I'm curious to do like synth funk.
Synth funk. So we'll start with synth funk, and I hit add, and it's turned up, and I'm gonna hit play, and it'll start generating, right? So it's constantly feeding live, it'll constantly go.
Yeah.
And it might give you, by itself, it might give you variations already and do a solo or whatever, but it's just gonna keep going. So now, what would you like to add to your synth funk?
I'd say add some bass, add some heavy bass. Yeah.
Any kind of bass,
like
or just bass?
Some like heavy slap bass.
Heavy slap bass. All right, so we've added it. Now this color's purple. This is like a seafoam green.
Yeah.
You'll start seeing the colors starts blending. So now they're both going. We've got still that beat kind of going. Yeah. We're hearing a little bit more of a bass. The synth kind of went away.
Okay.
But now we've got these two knobs here, and we can adjust them for influence. So if you want way more heavy slap bass, we could turn this all the way up. You'll start seeing more of that seafoam green. And I was gonna say this is heavy slap bass, but that's what it's giving us right now.
Yeah.
We'll turn the influence down, see if we get a change. A little bass.
And then so you really liked it. Are you able to download this?
So you can't save this and download it yourself, like to have all of it, because it's just a constant feed. But I can now hit share, send you a text with the link to this. And then when you open it, it'll show you the last, I think, 30 seconds of what I've been making.
Yeah.
You can hear it, and then you've got these to continue off of. But after those 30 seconds of hearing what I kind of sent you and started with, everything after that is now raw and new.
So now it's up to the next.
And just live feed. And now you play with the idea, but take it further. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So like we kind of lost the beat there, so I'll swap it out now and give more synth funk. And we got a little more bass. But yeah, and then we could add, you know, like what, saxophone or something else?
Yeah, throw some sax in there.
So saxophone. And I always give it a chance to kind of like soak in where it's at right now. We might not hear anything because this has a heavier influence. Almost sounds like vocals there a little bit.
There's like vocals.
But again, it's because some people will hear it and they'll be like, "That's not what I asked for." It's AI. You gotta give it a chance. But yeah, so we'll start raising the influence of the saxophone. Now we're past heavy slap bass. We'll see what happens. Still nothing, so we'll turn it up a little bit more. Here we should start hearing something. But I like that it's live because the whole time you're still moving, you can still be dancing, having a good time, and then you start adjusting and you'll slowly hear those changes. All right, so we got saxophone, we kind of lost some of this, so maybe I turn this down too. We got drums coming back. I turned up the funk a little bit. Maybe we'll get a blend.
I think this is interesting because it's like, I feel like it's trying to fight itself, as you were saying.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't really know how to blend funk and
some of the genres are not meant to go together, but with the right knob balance, you can get there. There are things that I've found like didn't work, but then just slightly adjusting a knob took me to that place. But yeah, and then like let's say heavy slap bass we don't want anymore. You can delete that. Maybe that was giving us an influence we didn't want.
Do you think you'd ever like be doing something here in Music Effects DJ and then be like, oh, that was a really cool line. Let me pull that inspiration and I'm gonna go write something off of that.
100%. Yeah, this, like I said, the first day that I used this, the ideas that I heard this give me, I'd never heard music like before. Because I forgot what it was, like bluegrass and drum and bass, or bluegrass and I don't know if I did like djenty guitar, like djent. I don't know if you're familiar with djent. It's like progressive metal.
Yeah.
But it's like a heavier guitar riff, but then with the speed of a bluegrass like banjo or mandolin, but then the heaviness from that guitar work. It's just very interesting, and you'd never heard stuff like that before.
Yeah, interesting. Now I'm definitely gonna go mess with this.
Oh yeah, no, there's so much potential. But yeah, it could be stuff that you're used to and you just want to listen to smooth jazz. But if you really play with it and try some outlandish stuff, you'll hear genres you never thought existed. And sometimes, like I said, you get an iteration that might not be what you wanted, but that might inspire something. Some of these mistakes, you know, might spark an idea. We wanted it to be red, but this just popped it up as a lavender, and that looks cooler, you know, and that, I think through the process of working with this tool, more creativity comes out of it. And because it can do things that maybe you couldn't, you get that idea spark. And in using AI for a couple years now, for me, it's a creativity boost. I don't really see it as a replacement. And I know, like I said, that's the big fear for people, is it's gonna replace us. We can work with it and just boost what we do as an outlet.
That's awesome. I'm glad to see that you're
Yeah.
hopeful by it and, you know,
Oh,
using
yeah.
it as a tool to really boost your creativity and some of the stuff that you might not necessarily want to spend hours on, like
Oh, yeah.
de-essing, something that you're able to kind of have help with that and get back to creating what you really want to do.
100%, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and have a great rest of your day.